Peter, I'd like to ask you how and when you first took to writing. How did you become a writer? What makes you go? What makes you tick? What encourages you to keep on?
Well, I like doing it, really. And having found out that I like doing it, I've carried on doing it ever since and not stopped.
Okay. When did you find out you liked doing it?
At school, when I was asked to write things, and I found that what I wrote was other people sometimes liked it for reasons I couldn't understand.
Okay.
Not just teachers, but sometimes I would write things for school newspapers, and people would say kind things about them, and I simply hadn't expected that. So the pleasure of being appreciated came very quickly.
Okay. And when was your first book?
My first book I wrote in 1999.
Okay.
Which is The Abolition of Britain.
Okay. And you write for the Mail, is that right? Mail on Sunday?
The Mail on Sunday, yes. It's complicated. British newspapers have this strange phenomenon called the Sunday newspaper, which is wholly separate from daily newspapers. And I write for one of those.
Okay. So it's a separate publication.
It's a separate publication.
And
we share a website with our daily sister, which is also our principal rival, but we regard ourselves as competitors.
That's an interesting.
It's the only way to do it. If you want to be separate, you have to compete.
Okay. With what's your how much time do you devote to the craft of writing as opposed to the ingesting of material, reading and so that sort of thing?
Well, again, reading for someone of my sort, I discovered very early on, and it's almost sinful, the extraordinary wonder of being able to open a book and step out of whatever my current concerns were. So reading of one kind or another, there are certain exceptions to this, which I'll mention in a moment, is something I will turn to many times during a day.
Okay.
And it will almost always be a pleasure. Sometimes I will do it specifically because I've been asked a question I couldn't answer.
Right.
Or I suddenly understand from a debate that I've been in that I'm inadequately informed on something that I thought I knew about. And it's one of the reasons why debating is such a pleasure, is because there's nothing more educational than taking on a serious opponent and finding the weaknesses in your own position, and sometimes in changing your mind. So the reading and the writing are almost seamless. The one happens almost in step with the other. I haven't as yet worked out a way of doing it simultaneously.
Okay, so you sometimes research, but read for pleasure overwhelmingly.
Yes, but a lot of my research is pleasure, and
Right.
you must have had the joy of being in. We are so rich in London in libraries, and there are a couple that I use. One is a private subscription one, which I belong to, and the other is the National Library, the British Library. Of being in these libraries and beginning on a trail, you get hold of this book that you've been recommended to tell you what you need to know, and you find in this book a reference to another book, and you send down to the stacks, and they bring it to you, and you open it, and you follow the thing on and on and on, deeper and deeper into it, discovering that you hadn't a clue what was really going on, and that this is the case. And then you have, in my case, a burning desire to communicate this, which is usually frustrating because nobody reads the books when I've written them.
Well, somebody must read some of them somewhere.
I'm not sure. I hope so, but there's not much evidence of it. Certainly the principal targets of them don't read them.
Okay. With Tolkien once said that his writing grew out of the leaf mold of his mind. Do you find something like that happening? Do you simply read pursuing your interests and checking up on things, and then the writing just comes?
I have to have a purpose.
Okay.
The writing as such is nothing. I write for a purpose. I write to persuade.
To make the argument.
Yeah.
Okay. When
I wish I could write to narrate. I wish I were a storyteller,
okay.
because I think that the English atheist writer Philip Pullman is absolutely right when he says that once upon a time is always far more effective on the human mind than thou shalt not.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could do it, but it doesn't seem to be a gift that's been given to me.
Okay. Thank you.